Hello friends, and welcome to episode 138 of Discourse in Magic. My name is Jonah Babbins, and once again, this is one of those episodes without a guest. It has me telling you about some cool things going on with Discourse in Magic in Toronto and in my life. So I've got some fun things on the docket for today, and some cool shows, or a cool show that I went to see that I want to tell you all a little bit about if you're interested. But let's start with an update on what is going on in my life. So the first is I have finally moved in to the new place. So I moved in with Ben. It is there's enough space to work, and there's enough light to work, which is a little bit of an upgrade rather from the place that I was in before. So I'm happy because I do a lot of work from home, and now it's a lot of work with natural light. So I'm very happy, and you are going to see a lot more footage being shot in my house because there's some nice open spaces, there's some nice windows, and there is now mine and Ben's bookshelf combined, which is a lot of books. It's a lot of books to be surrounded by, and it brings in a lot of feelings about books that we talk about a lot on the podcast. One, or the first half, is that it's such an incredible resource, and you have to keep learning from books, and by not learning from books, you're handicapping yourself. And then the other thing is, and this is with all knowledge, but keep learning, but comes a time where you have to start implementing, and you can't just learn, but you have to do and be a doer. So I keep thinking about those two things battling against each other because I keep being surrounded by a wall of books. So that's really interesting. I'd love to know what you think about books. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you think you've learned enough in Magic? Or do you think, and it's time to stop learning? Or do you think that's ridiculous and there's always more to learn? I also have a cat now, which I'm allergic to, but he's very cute. So it is a win-lose, I guess. And what else did I want to say about moving in? Oh yeah, it's just been cool because now I've spent a lot of time, even more time, jamming than before. Although I did with Mark, but he was out and about a little bit more. Ben is more like me, and he works at home. So we spend a lot of time working on Magic, and I've been working on some new routines at a little bit of a faster rate than usual, which has me excited. And yeah, you'll probably see some Magic challenges happening between Ben and I and the giant wall of books, and potentially something that you guys can get involved with. So that's been cool, and if you are ever in Toronto, send us a message, and you can come over and say hi, and see where all of the episodes are recorded, and see where the secrets are kept. The next thing I wanted to tell you about was Austin. So I just had a trip to Austin. I put a bunch of messages out on Facebook and Instagram for the podcast, seeing if any magicians were in Austin, and it took a few attempts, but I finally got some recommendations, and thank God I did. You guys recommended a show called Esther Follies with a magician named Ray Anderson. I know there's multiple Ray Andersons, but I went to see this show, and I will have to say it was one of the best pieces of live theater I have ever seen in my life. I'll tell you a little bit about it, but because I know so many people that listen to this podcast live in America, when you get a chance, go and see it, because the show is ever changing. But I'll tell you this. There's the magic part of it, which is Ray Anderson, which is every 3 or 4 acts he comes out and does a large-scale illusion, and it's large-scale in a parlor-type setting. There's only 250 seats. It's very intimate, but the rest of the show is 5 or 6 like singer-writer creators, and it's like SNL, except half of it is musical songs, and it's about pop culture. It's even better than SNL. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Big shout out to Ray Anderson. I'm going to try, I know he's going to be in some publications soon talking about it, but I will be bringing him on the podcast soon as well to talk a little bit about that show. But it's called Esther Follies. I cannot recommend it enough. They do things where where the stage is set up. If you look through, you can see there's a glass wall behind the stage that goes onto the street. So during the show, people on the street look in through that glass wall, and the entertainers on stage interact with the people that are on the street. There's audience participation. It was just one of the most incredible shows I've ever seen, and it really inspired me in a lot of different ways about what we can do with magic shows in Toronto, and just making upping the production value, or this idea of, the writers coming in, sorry, I didn't explain this, but everybody who's on the show is also a writer for the show, for this Esther Follies. And on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and part of Thursday, they spend writing the show. And then every week the show is different because they use different information that's in the news media cycle. So whatever's in the news is what they're making songs and skits about. And they're hilarious and they're different every week. So just that idea of pop culture and spending multiple days writing new things every week was very appealing to me, because I do a lot of shows with the Toronto Magic Company. I'm constantly doing the same things over and over again. So the idea that I would be able to change it up and maybe work with a team of writers or creators is something interesting and inspiring. So that was very cool. And also, while I was in Austin, and the reason I went to Austin was not just to see Esther Follies, but because I had a private event or performance with some really incredible online marketers. So if you're at all in the online marketing industry, go on my Instagram and look through some of the people that I got a chance to spend the weekend with. If you don't know who online marketers are, then don't waste your time, because you won't know who any of those people are. But it was incredible for me, and it was cool to share with people who are experts in their field and get to have conversations with them and share my expertise and have them share theirs. So I'll give you an example. There's a guy, I won't mention his name, but he is a podcaster. He's got one of the top ranked podcasts, and he has hundreds of episodes. And he was telling me, he was like, how do you go back and watch footage of yourself performing? Like, doesn't it hurt? Like, doesn't it suck to watch? And I'm like, yes, but every time you don't watch footage back, you're robbing yourself of an ability to improve. And he was like, wow. And it was just crazy, because this guy who I had looked up to for so many years with his advice on marketing was getting advice from me on performance, but it was a little bit different because it was for his podcast, but I was still giving him advice of performance for me, the way that I perform on stage. So obviously he has advice for me for podcasting, but I have advice for him for performance, which was very interesting and cool that I was able to share with people that I'd learned so much from. You think that when you follow people online, like YouTubers or creators or whatever, the idea that if you meet them, you won't just be like, hey, can you like do for me? The hope that when you meet them, you're able to give them something or do something for them or help them in a way or give them value. And when I learn from online marketers, it's very challenging, because I'm like, what are my skills? My skills are magic. So unless they're looking for magic, I don't have ways to help you. But now 2 times that's sort of proven itself wrong. One is some guy who I followed online made a post saying he wanted to learn magic. So that was perfect, and I helped him. And then I was able to, this time, which was so interesting, is I was able to share things that I had learned, advice that I had taken and internalized across an industry. So that was very, very cool. The next thing, which is sort of weird, or I guess strange for me to talk about myself on the podcast, but I guess I will. But I won an award. So I won the Len Cooper Memorial Award, which is an award that they give out at Browser's Den every year for an active young magician, somebody who does things for the community. And that was really special. But I didn't really want to highlight the award. There's a few things I want to highlight. The first is that I'm in really good company of other people who I had mentioned or who I have mentioned on the podcast who have won the award. So a lot of incredible people like James Allen and Ben and Chris Westfall and Jeff Hinchliffe and other people that have been on the podcast have won that award. RJ Steele, who we speak about a lot, who's a young magician in Toronto. A lot of people have won that. So I'm in really good company, which feels really cool. And it's great to win an award in Toronto, because it feels like in the last few years I've been doing a lot of work in and with Toronto, so I'm very happy that that's recognized. And hopefully it's just more people. What's cool about the Browser's Den is every time we're there, and that's the magic store in Toronto, every time I'm there, I meet new people who don't know about the Toronto Magic Company. And it's just exciting because people get another opportunity to perform on stage. People who never thought they'd be able to do that can do it within a month on the newest trick, and they can invite their friends and family, and they can be the star of the show. So it's just really exciting that we get to feature hundreds of magicians. And I always like that something like this helps get the word out, and I'm happy to represent Browser's Den. And if you're ever there, if you're ever in Toronto, I will probably recommend us going and meeting up and hanging out at Browser's Den, at the Browser's Den of Magic. So if you find yourself here, send me a message and we will do a meetup there, and you can buy some cool magic because it's one of the best stores ever, and Jeff are really cool. There's one other thing I wanted to highlight about it, which is the award is the Len Cooper Memorial Award, and Len's wife, Bernice, they bring her in every year for the award as well as for the magic convention, the bash that Jeff puts on. But I got a chance to sit down with her and chat with her a little bit about Len, and I was just asking, like, what are some of the qualities that made Len such a staple in the community, and what are some of the qualities that that you would like to see this award, being passed to people who can do these things. So the two things that she said, which were interesting to me, and they were things that stuck with me, is she said he was very kind to kids and young people in Magic, which that felt really good because I teach Magic in the summers. This podcast is free, and I'm constantly, people send me emails, and I just get on Skype with them and help them out. So I feel very good about that, and that's an area which I'd love to do more work in, because different people helping me when I was young in Magic is what made me do Magic. So I'm very excited when I meet young people in Magic, and I'm very excited to help them. And the second thing that she said was gentle. He was very gentle. And that's, I wouldn't call myself gentle, but that is a trait which, since I had that conversation with her, I've been trying to put into my Magic to slow things down, make them more gentle, and make them less harsh and intense and and high-paced and but instead make them more gentle and hopefully impactful in whatever way that means. 2 quick updates, things that I wanted to not forget to say. So the first is I still don't need a new co-host. For those of you that are still messaging me, those will probably fade. But the next thing is I will probably be doing something different with these episodes. It might no longer be a solo episode. I'm probably going to find a way to bring people on. I just don't really like sitting here talking to myself because I can't really express two different sides of an argument, nor can I laugh, because I don't laugh at my own jokes. So I'm probably going to find a way to do that, but I also do want to find a way to keep you all updated on what I'm doing. So maybe I'll put a little update at the beginning of episodes. Maybe I'll just encourage you to follow me, or maybe I'll make it a segment with people on every episode to give us a quick update on their lives, and then I might do that as well. The next thing is that since I moved in here and Tyler just moved into my old place, and I'm very excited to go see it. Literally, when this recording ends, I'm going to Tyler's to see his new place. The next thing is December. So December is approaching, obviously, and for me it's a really interesting month because things very quickly, the end of November and the beginning of December, things very quickly shift from a lot of TMC shows, when TMC is at full blast, when the Toronto Magic Company is doing all of its shows right now. I do 22 shows a month with the Toronto Magic Company, and sometimes I only do maybe 1 or 2 other private events during that month. But then near the end of November and December, that swaps completely. We basically stop all of our Toronto Magic Company shows just one at a time. So first we stop Newest Trick, then Art of Magic, and then the Dave & Buster's shows, and then I start having private shows. So in December I do a lot more of Christmas parties and private events and house parties and different things of that sort. I do a lot more of those then, which is fun because shows like Newest Trick that I get to do during the year, this now allows me to, these tricks that I've done a little bit more and more of, and gotten better and created better routines, I now get to try them out for not real people, but paying audiences instead of Newest Trick, which is free. So I'll implement it in my shows and see how well they work. So I'm approaching a very interesting season because it's when my routines that I've tested a bunch at Newest Trick get to make their way into my repertoire and see if it works for real people now that I've seen that it works at an open mic night. And this corporate season is getting a little bit busier than usual, which is great. I think year over year it'll get bigger, and it's just a reminder to me and everyone that Things like this do take time, and if you're good, people are going to recommend you, and then the next year you're going to have more people that want you, and more and more and more. And sometimes it takes 5 or 6 or 7 years to really fill out a December. I remember people used to say, like, oh, I have a full, like, December, like, full of all these corporate, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I never had that. I was like, what are you talking about? But then over the last 3 or 4 years, when I've really committed to magic, and it's been my everything, it's been what I talk about, what's on my social media, it's been what I send emails about, it's been what I talk to strangers about, it's what I do. It ends up being in more people's front of mind, and then I perform and people like it and they bring me back, and that's how that sort of thing grows. And that's why word of mouth is so strong with magic, because as a magician you do something that's impossible and people remember it. So someone says to their friend, oh my gosh, I saw the most incredible thing, this guy made a card appear in a lemon, and then just that excitement is, nobody shares a review about anything like that. No, like, there's no, like, even the closest thing is Game of Thrones. People are like, oh, Game of Thrones is crazy. But even a magic trick, like, if you really fool someone bad, that'll sell more tickets, or that'll sell more of your bookings than anything. So being awesome plays a really big role in word of mouth marketing. So that's always just something to remember in December, is that next year can be better. Just make sure that you are promoting yourself and doing as much as you can during the other 11 seasons. And I'm making it sound like December is the only month to make money, which is not even remotely true. It's not even one of my best months, but I just wanted to share that because I always think about it every year, because every year it's a little bit better than the last. And if you're listening to this business stuff and you're interested, I am currently in the process of making another little mini course for you, a free little mini course for you to join. So keep your ears peeled, because that thing is going to be coming out shortly. I have 2 more major things to talk about. The first is just my magic. So a few different things that I've been doing and trying and attempting. And last time that I spoke about my magic on the podcast, I got so many different people reaching out to me with advice and tips and info and resources that it was incredible. So I figured, now that it's just me, I would do a little bit more of that, because that was really awesome, and I get to sort of share that journey with you. So a trick that I'm doing right now, I've done it about 10 times since I've last spoken to you guys, 10 different public performances, is the chop cup. I've been having a lot of fun. I've been doing some interesting bits with it. So one is I'm not going to say it yet because I don't think it's ready to talk about it yet, because it's not there. But I'm doing some interesting bits with it. I implemented... Do you hear the cat? Do you guys hear the cat? There he is. He sounds so sad, but really he's so sweet. But anyways, I've been playing with the chop cup. So if anybody has some of their favorite chop cups, maybe videos or resources, please send them my way, because that's really interesting. Another thing I've been doing now a lot more, because of the newest trick happening every week, and us having Chris Mayhew record them, and his recording is incredible, his footage is great. So I've been able to watch my performances back now more often than I would have before, which is great. And it's just a reminder about how valuable that is, because every time I watch things back, I come to major realizations and things that have helped me make major changes. Like recently, and I know that I spoke about it a little bit in the Carissa Hendricks episode, but I've sort of just made a change to speak a little bit slower and more articulate, and being more articulate on stage. And it's had such an impact in the way that I've been able to reach audiences. And I see myself changing a lot of my magic and a lot of the way that I do it, because I've now implemented this, this new way of speaking. And that solely came from watching myself back. And I've also added some really cool moments, which I think I spoke about quite in depth on Carissa's episode. But that's just an interesting point. So please watch back your footage, because I've been doing it more than usual and it's been valuable. And the last part is that I've been feeling a little bit better about the development of new material. I know in the past it's sort of, for me, and I don't know how much I've been relaying about it, but it sort of felt like, beating my head against the wall, because I would try something really new and creative that's never been done before, like potions or mind reading or time traveling phones or all these different crazy stuff, and they never really got the impact that I wanted. And now I took a different approach, and I sort of just wanted to start implementing a classic trick, and implementing the chop cup with my own creative presentation has been really fun, and I'm interested in twisting that more and more and more to get more and more unique, instead of sort of doing what I was doing before, which is coming up with a trick, just boom, all together, all at once, to see if I can come up with something really creative, that's something that I wish that I would want to do. So let's see what happens. This is a new attempt. There's a classic of magic that I'm trying to implement, instead of doing some of this crazy stuff, or some, not crazy stuff, but weirder magic, do maybe more normal things. So I'm going to be working on a spoon bend soon as well. I've been talking about that for a while, and that's something I'm going to be attempting soon. So those are just some things going on in my magic. If you have any thoughts on those two things, chop cup or spoon bend, or any of the aspects of it I mentioned, send info my way. I'm going to be spending quite a bit more time sitting down with those two things. So hopefully they're going to develop quite quickly. And the last thing that I want to tell you about, and I don't know if it's going to be live, I guess it won't be live when this goes up, but at the end of November and the beginning of December, I am going to be putting up a major contest. A major contest where there's over $200 worth of value and of things that you could win, and one person is winning over $200. It's not like one person is winning a ginormous thing. So I already know what the thing is. It's crazy. I already have a good feel for the contest, and it's just being set up, and it's just to celebrate some big milestones. So you'll hear a little bit more about that soon, but if you're interested in winning an awesome or multiple awesome prizes for your shelf, then this is going to be good. So the very last thing that I wanted to talk about, if you have joined me along this little mini episode journey chat about what is going on, is one more detail about what was going on in Austin. So when I was there, I spent some time working with some of the best in the world at a few different things. One is writing, so really helping me relay information to you, helping me share what I'm trying to say as well in as little words as possible, articulate, interesting, and different things like that. So I have some people now that are helping me with writing, and I also have some people that are helping me with course development, finding a way to build some mini courses for you so that you can learn how to do the certain things that I believe that I know how to do, and believe more importantly that I can help you get through some of the first phases, like how to start booking gigs, or how to start creating your own magic, or how to start building a website, or different things like that. So that's something that's going to be coming. And the last is people who had a ton of advice on email. And I've been saying for a long time that email is my favorite, and we now have over 1,000 people on the Discourse and Magic email list, well over 1,000. But if you haven't joined yet, come and be a part of it. So go to discourseandmagic.com and sign up and get the Theory Resource Guide. And without saying much about the future, I will say the Theory Resource Guide, which is a guide that I put together when the podcast started about different things that could help you with your magic theory. The Theory Resource Guide is only going to be available for a little bit longer as our resource. There might be some other ways to get it in the future, but it's only going to be available a little bit longer, and it's been up for like 2.5 years now or something. So, and it might still be up later, but there's a new thing that's going to be there, a new guide for you that's going to be there coming soon. So if you haven't yet, go sign up for the Discourse in Magic newsletter, email list, mailing list, and you will get the Theory Resource Guide. And other than that, thank you so much for listening and being a part of this, and helping me and you and I grow together and become better magicians, slowly and surely. Thanks so much, and see you next Thursday. Peace.